Hello and good evening, everybody. This is Jeff Berger. How are you? And happy Wellness Wednesdays. And tonight is actually the first of a series that I'm going to be doing over the coming year, and I'm going to be announcing that a little bit tonight. But tonight's topic is going to be the microbiome, key elements for fitness coaches. And before I introduce my special guest, I'd like to just cover a couple of things up front and share some little nuggets here. So for those that don't know, I'm Jeff Berger. I am a certified holistic wellness coach, and I'm also aligned with the only holistic mental wellness company that is focusing on the microbiome, which is the gut, brain, heart axis health, a science that's disrupting the health and wellness industry today. And I've been preaching about this for the past couple of years with my own physical and mental wellness journey. So many of you already know that I'm a contributing author to Phoenix Fitness magazine, as well as Own It magazines. They are digital, and sometimes we do hard copies. And just recently, I'm really humbled to announce through a very dear friend of mine, the editor-in-chief of Phoenix Fitness magazine, that I was introduced to another amazing woman. Lots of amazing women out there, Michelle Muppo. And I'll be introducing another amazing woman in a few minutes here. But with that, Michelle Muppo she actually was introduced to me a couple of months ago, and she is the CEO of Muppo Entertainment LLC. And what I'm going to do here is I am going to share this little screen here. And Michelle Muppo she's put together this full entertainment company around television and talent and record labels, publishing, magazine, and radio. So I'm really excited and I'm humbled to be a part of this team providing value, and right now specifically towards TV and magazine herd networks in those two areas for myself. And so stay tuned for some amazing things that I'll be sharing with that journey. And Michelle Muppo she's definitely a rock star, and in many ways, a very diverse background she comes from. She's got a heart of gold. She was on TV, Ryan's Hope at a very early age. And her passion project she is actually, which is kind of something that I got really excited about, is coming on board, is her Homes for the Disabled and Homeless Veterans. And Michelle is really a firm believer that we all should be living in abundance and optimum wellness, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, including financially. And I'll be talking a little bit more about that through the journey here that we've got. So I hope that you are going to like this next little video I'm going to share. And thanks for letting me share just a little bit about what is happening here. And this is going to go on for about 54 weeks. And before I introduce Caitlin Comstock, who is my very special guest tonight, take a quick look at what I've got going on here for you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do this, and I'm going to shoot this. Okay, very good. Thank you. And I hope you enjoyed that. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to remove this and bring my special guest, Caitlin Comstock, to the stage here. So with that, Caitlin is she's from Clio, California. and now is living in Hawaii. And she's going to share a little
Yeah.
that journey. So I can't wait to hear, because Hawaii is on my bucket list. So, and she is the owner and CEO of Bodies by Caitlin. And she is started that business of hers as a solopreneur in 2012, a womanpreneur, and who has really dealt with a lot of mental health struggles, and is getting through a tragic loss of her husband, and is bringing mental health into something she's been doing for the last 14 years. Very, very passionate about what she's knowing and learning about gut health. And this is why we're talking about the microbiome today, is the key element for fitness coaches and businesses today. So, and Caitlin says to live is she agrees with Oscar Wilde, I should say. To live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people exist, and that is all. And this is so true. So welcome, Caitlin, Comstock, to Wellness Wednesday. I really am very appreciative of you taking your time, because you flew from Hawaii and you're now in California. So
that's right.
Before we get into some questions, share a little bit about who Caitlin is.
I'd love to. Yeah, thank you so much for having me on Wellness Wednesdays, and I'm so excited to be able to do this on June 1st and kicking off an amazing summertime with just better mental energy. We just came out of May, that was mental health awareness month. So I think this is such a great platform to be starting on this June 1st and Wednesday. But my name's Caitlin. I'm 34 years old, and yep, I've been in personal training and group fitness classes for 14 years, personal training more specifically for the last 12. It's kind of all I've done since high school, coming from a sports background in high school and just always being athletic and into the health, the body, the mind, the soul, the whole entire thing. So 14 years ago, I started teaching fitness classes here in LA, actually. This is where my whole career and journey started. In fact, I'm staying with my best friend who I met at the first gym I ever worked at. We've been best friends ever since. She was my personal trainer, and that's actually how we became best friends. And then 12 years ago, I started Bodies by Caitlin, and just helping people with their physical health and their nutrition more so. And just in the last year, tapping into a bigger piece of the puzzle, which is their mental health. And then just in the last few months, really diving deep and tapping into the whole key that kind of puts it all together, which is your digestive health, everything that goes on in the inside. And insanely passionate about it. I'm so excited to be here and talk about my story and just talk about the importance of the gut-brain axis system and why it is so important that you have both operating as one full system for just all the beneficial benefits that you get when your body is just completely optimized and working at its finest.
And you're so right on with that, Caitlin. And you've been focusing on this before. A lot of this is coming out into the forefront over the last couple of years. So it's exciting to reflect on what you've been learning in the past 14 years in your business of fitness, because fitness is really it's physical, mental, and emotional, which is what we've been really talking about. So take us on a little journey here. Let me ask you this, because on your Facebook About page, you talk about, there was a quote from Albert Einstein: a person starts to live when he can live outside of himself. So share a little bit about the insight of why you like that as a favorite quote for you.
I think that's just, we tend to be so much in our own world, and a lot of negative things can happen in our own world if we stay in this little bubble of, just woe is me and all the things happening. But really stepping outside of yourself into like greatness, into your truth, into your voice, expanding those limits of yourself, but then inviting other people in to do it as well, because it's not just about me. It's not just about you. It's about all of us as humanity, as a society all together, really pushing each other, living outside of just this little, bubble or box that we've created, and really just living the biggest and the brightest life that we can. And that incorporates so many things. That's your financial life, that's your physical life, your mental life, the loving relationships you have, all of it, just expanding and pushing out of the greatness, of what can be.
Yeah, I so resonate with you on that now. I wish I would have had that mindset back when I was, graduating high school, graduating college, because my day, it was go to school, get an education, and go find a nice, safe, secure job. And then you
Right.
become a robot to a
Mm-hmm.
broken system that's out there. And
Yeah.
now that I've left that system and I'm out as an entrepreneur, the more people I talk to, it's amazing to see those entrepreneurial minded people versus that job mentality
Totally.
personality. And, I was stuck in that mentality for decades.
Mm-hmm.
And it needed to change because I burnt out in 2016. So to be able to, get both sides of the stories, I think entrepreneurship should be introduced, in high school.
100%. I
Or
agree
they
with
go
that so much.
and
Yes.
allow them that option of, well, okay, I can go to a job or I can start something, fresh and something that's unique to me and something that I'm
Right.
passionate about. And that it's happening now because as I'm down here in Florida, there are a number of colleges that have entrepreneurship programs, which is great. When I went to school, no, you didn't have that. You go find a
Right.
job. So it's really interesting to see how, you're at a great age where you've had that opportunity to go out on your own. So it really brings hope for other people
Mm-hmm.
because so many people are just really looking for something different today, and that's awesome. So
Definitely.
share a little bit about your own mental health struggles that we talked a little bit about before we went live today, talking last week in regards to preparing for this. Share with the viewers here. And I just want to quick say hi, Billy from Cape Cod, Massachusetts. He's joining us all the way from the Northeast there. So thanks for joining us. So go
Hi,
ahead.
Billy. Thanks for joining. um, so yeah, like I said, so I'll kind of backtrack a little bit. As a personal trainer for the last 12 years and witnessing and helping my clients with their physical, the physical side of things. But a lot of times when you're a personal trainer, you're a therapist also, because we get to know each other so well. And so, really getting close with a lot of them and helping them through their, the mental health for them. Well, I didn't quite have my own experiences with mental health until a few years ago. And it actually stemmed even before my husband passing 2 years ago. My dad got sick with cancer 7 years ago and passed 5 years ago. And then that kind of started for myself to be like, okay, I get this mental health thing now, how it can just ebb and flow with trauma and with grief and be so up and down. But I didn't quite even realize that it was even something I was struggling with until I lost my husband. And it was then like a big whammy of just all this grief that kind of all just came crumbling down. And so it's in the last 2 years that I was really struggling with my mental health and, depression and just those ups and downs of grief, even, with my dad, it's been 5 years, but that comes still in flow. And then with my husband passing 2 years ago, that still comes and hits me. And so I felt like I had a lot more compassion for my clients over the last 12 years and helping them through their journey and having, being a little bit involved in their experiences. But I didn't actually have personal experience with any of that until, more so the last 5 years, especially the last 2 years, and
Yes.
really started to take it seriously that it's so much more than just your physical health, like your strength and like running, it's
Right.
so much more. It's just a huge piece of the puzzle. That's a big piece of the puzzle, but the mental health is probably number one out of all of it. And the other thing about it is that we don't talk about mental health. A lot of people, it's not just an open concept anymore. There's a lot of like shame around it for whatever reason, that there's mental health is a struggle for a lot of people. And so once I kind of, admitted and dissected that I was really struggling with my mental health and then got a little bit more open with myself about it and open with other people, I really dug deeper into just how serious this is for all of us, that we need to be talking about it. We need to be sharing about it. We need to be supporting each other and loving each other, and that there's ways to work through it. A lot of times with mental health, I think that we think it's just stress, it's just trauma, it's just triggers, it's just work, it's just, but it's so much more than that. It's so much deeper than just all the brain type stuff. And so I'm really excited to be here and talk about it.
That's awesome. Yes. And my whole thing this past year has been mental fitness is the new physical health. And
Mm-hmm.
the more that science is coming to showing this over the last couple of years, that our gut health has a massive role when it comes to our overall physical, mental, and emotional well-being. The research that I've been doing over the last couple of years, especially with the foods that are out there, over 10,000 chemicals,
right,
food preservatives. They're all addictive. They all cause depression, anxiety, stress at different levels, and
right.
people are not aware of this. And
Mm-mm.
the sad thing is that it's known, and they're still getting away with it, which is what's really scary.
That is
About
scary.
that.
Yeah.
So you've been introduced to a company that we talk about mental health. It's gut health, and you've been utilizing this protocol for several months. So and what I loved about this too is, very quickly I'll share, stress resilience. You can't put a price tag on that.
Definitely not.
This past year I had 6 family deaths, managing my mother's
Wow.
estate, selling her house, taking care of my disabled brother who was diagnosed with stage 4 colon, liver, abdomen cancer a month after my mom passed. Talk about stress, talk about anxiety. But with the, the more people I'm talking to who are utilizing these protocols, we're able to evaluate rather than react.
Exactly.
So many people out there are reacting rather than evaluating. So, which is massive. I mean, I can't put a price tag on this. It's just amazing. So share with the viewers, your journey since you started to incorporate this into your physical and mental wellness, as well as, some of your clients. You're making recommendations to your clients about, their own struggles. How is that working for you?
Yeah, so like I said, I've really, in the last 2 years, kind of struggled with my mental wellness, but it's just in the last few months that I've chosen to take a stand for my mental health, and take it more seriously, and, dive deeper into what was going on aside from just the trauma and the stress and the triggers, which, like I said, a lot of times we think that's what it is. And like you said, we're just, I think, taught to be reactive. We're not given, coping skills that are processing it and dealing with it and being able to better handle those stressful situations. We're just reactive. And that's like what I was talking about at the beginning. We get stuck in our own little bubble of woe is me, instead of expanding, leaning into those feelings and leaning into, the side effects or everything else that's going on within the body. So in January of this year, 2022, I was really just burnt out on just feeling so up and down with my mental state, even doing all the right things. Like, my body was suffering from it too, but doing all the right things. Like, I was journaling, I was getting tons of sleep. I live in Hawaii. I was at the beach all the time, and, doing good things for my soul. I eat really good. I work out all the time, and nothing was working. And just getting so frustrated. And I was on the verge of getting on antidepressants, but I also knew I didn't really want to go that route, because for me personally, I just didn't want to not work through the emotions and work through the grief, and not really dig deeper into what was going on in me as a whole system. Because the more my mental state started to decline, my physical state was starting to decline. And like I said, I was doing everything right, working out all the time, tons of water, tons of sleep, eating really well. And still my gut was so messed up all the time. My hormones started changing out of nowhere. I'm only 34, like premenopausal crazy stuff. And my gut was just upset. I would cancel plans because I was so uncomfortable. And I'm like, okay, something is not right. Something in my whole body is just not talking to itself anymore, not talking to each other. So I reached out to my girlfriend about what she was doing, what she posts about so passionately, just to give it a shot for myself, because I was so desperate for something to just give me a little bit of hope. And within 4 days of being on the products of Amare, I just started seeing, it was like I had this cloud all over my whole body, and it just started to lift and lighten and separate. I'm like, there's no way. I started to feel better. My gut was finally feeling better. And the more I took it seriously, the more I dived deeper into it and researched more about it. Day 7, then day 10, day 14, I have an amazing transformation. Just physically, a side-by-side picture. You could literally see this inflammation in my whole body just starting to go away. And so it was a physical, change. But what I felt inside, how, like you said, I was even having stressful situations still come up. The way that I reacted to those stressful situations, like, wow, okay, I got this. I'm like, I can cruise through it a little bit better versus be like, oh my gosh, kind of freak out over it. So that was really cool. And then, like I said, just my everything internal just started to change. My sleep even started to get way better. I thought I was getting really good sleep. Turns out I had no idea what good sleep was. And my sleep started to get better. And My mood was just, started to just brighten a little bit. I'm like, okay, I feel like I'm coming out of this darkness, out of these shadows of just feeling that grief, like suffocating me all the time. And then, my digestive system just started working again. And I wasn't having these crazy hormonal stuff up and down and, feeling crazy in my head, feeling crazy in my body. It just all started to work. And now I'm here. So that was actually end of February. So only March, April, and May, only 3 months. And I'm like, that's why I'm so passionate about this. I don't ever want to go back to any of those feelings internally, externally, in my gut, in my brain. And I know so many other people that can relate to exactly what I'm saying and just feel hopeless and there's not an option. And like, we need to get the word out there about how this is all connected and how, there is such a possible way to just see that bright light for longevity,
Yeah, no, absolutely. This is really, it's an important message that has to be communicated, because there are so many people out there, they're looking because they're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and they don't understand and they don't know where to go. So it's delivering that message and providing that hope. 3.5 years ago, I was looking for that hope, and I was skeptical in the beginning. But I said, I've got nothing to lose. I've got to try something, because I was not on a very good health path with my medical doctor. So, and here I am today, shouting from the mountaintops about this and just encouraging people to get information. Just get information, evaluate. You can evaluate it. So, what can you share some of the experiences? I know it's a short term here, and for those that are watching, Caitlin had some really great results out of the gate. Me, it took 5 months. I didn't feel anything for 5 months. I wanted to give up many, many times, but all I saw was my father in his casket saying, okay, that's me next. No, I'm not ready. Right. So it pushed me through. It gave me that that psyche and that encouragement to say, push through, push through, push through. I'm thankful that I did. So everybody, it depends on your current situation. Where are you physically? 100%. Where are you mentally? Are you on medication? Do you have autoimmune diseases? What's going on? We've been destroying our bodies for decades. Well, some of us, decades and decades, and it's not going to happen overnight. It's not a red pill or a blue pill.
Right.
So, although we do have a purple pill. So,
right.
But with that, it takes time to heal, to mend, to repair, and fix that. But the longer you do it, the better. But share a little bit about some of the successes that you're having in a very short period of time with some of your clients. I'm sure that there's been some really amazing transformations from that perspective.
There has. And let me just touch on what you just said. Something I just stuck into mind, but I've said this to a lot of my clients, is if it was a quick fix, everyone would be doing it, right? And that's what we're trying to get away from, is the quick fixes, the Tylenol PM for sleep, the Pepto-Bismol for an upset stomach. We're literally trying to reprogram your microbiome, your digestive system, from years of abuse, and not even intentional abuse, antibiotics, poor sleep, poor eating habits, frickin' COVID and all the crap that did to our body. We're literally trying to reprogram your system. And I think for me, it was a faster result because I already was doing all the right things as a personal trainer. Great sleep, great exercise, great food. But that's not a lot of people's lifestyle. It just literally happens to be my job. Like, that is what I do for work. So I was already ahead of the curve a little bit.
Exactly.
Yeah. And so, but a lot of my clients, some of my clients have had really, and I don't want to say massive momentum in a week, but little changes can mean the world for somebody. Like, I've got this one client in general. The first text I got from her after 3 days was, I'm finally pooping regularly. Like, and that's, that's so little and compared to all the other things she's now told me. But for her, she was just living on a TMI, but just living on laxatives daily and miserable and calling out to work. She owned her own business, having to call out. So, little successes like that for people to be miserable in their own body. And then all of a sudden just be seeing, I just don't feel so, groggy all the time. Just, little things. My energy is peaked up. I'm handling stress better. But I've got one client who, she had texted me probably, I would say 6 weeks in, and said, because I check in about every week, if not bi-monthly or bi-weekly, every 2 weeks with people. I really want to just be on top of them. And that 6 weeks, she said, I'm not seeing any results. I haven't lost 1 pound of weight. And then I had just happened to open up that message. And then I got another message that said, never mind, I just redid my measurements. I've lost 16 inches off her waist in 6 weeks.
Wow.
So, and that's a whole nother story I can get into about muscle versus fat and the whole thing, right? But then it is a lot like that, just the way her clothes are fitting. Oh, I'm sorry, it was 16 inches full body. It was 6 inches off of her waist, but still 6 inches. I mean, that's, well, I don't have enough room on my screen, but that's a lot, you know? And so if you're only going by the scale and not looking at, are you having less cravings? Is your digestive system just better? Are you going to the bathroom more normally? Are your clothes fitting better? Your energy, you're breathing better. You can walk up a hill better. All those little things make such a big difference. And they're monumental for some people who have really been struggling for a long time. Another really great testimony that I had from a girlfriend was, and I hope she forgives me if she watches this, but she said that her husband had told her just within like 2 weeks in that she's more pleasant now than she's ever been since the day that they met. More just pleasant, happier, less combative. She really, I guess, struggled with postpartum depression, and that she's just happier. He's never seen her happier, or I guess you should say happier consistently instead of up and down, more consistent, happy moods.
That's the foods that are out there is what I'm finding, talking to, different coaching people that I'm working with today. And when they learn about what's in the foods, and I mean, this goes back to 1974. You know what glyphosate is. Glyphosate is a chemical in Roundup, which is a pesticide. It was patented in 1974 as an antibiotic, and it was injected into the genes of corn and soy to ward off insects. Well, whatever the insects didn't eat, who did? We did, because corn and soy is a massive food filler. We've been consuming that for decades. We wonder why we have the diseases that we do today. This goes back to even before the 70s when they started to, do this chemical preservatives and storing, food. When any food is chemically preserved, there's no nutrients in it, period. Exactly. And that's why we need to go to whole foods here. It's crazy. It's really, really crazy. So it's great to see your enthusiasm and you're excited to be on this journey. You're really new. You're just starting out. I've been doing this for a couple of years, but it's amazing to see the transformations that we see in the people that we're helping, because they're going from barely surviving to thriving. Exactly. And that's the beauty of this, because we're educating those people, and we're also, unfortunately, you have to take supplementation today. Quality supplementation.
That's key. Absolutely.
Exactly. Science-backed, clinical trial, plant-based, and it's been tested, because the earth in the United States, I think it's like 70% of our farmlands have been depleted of the nutrients. The earth has its own microbiome. So all of that is stripped out, and they're just pumping chemicals and all that kind of stuff on there. And it's not good for us. It's just not. So, the more education that we can get out there, which is, that's the secret. We've got to be doing that. You're doing it. I'm doing it. And so we're kind of coming up to the end of the talk here. I got to have you back.
Yeah, I'd love to be.
This has been fun. But if you could plant one seed for our viewers out there that are really seeking that piece of information, or that hope, or whatever they're looking for, what would that one nugget be for them?
I don't think I know very passionately that all you have is right now, right here and right now. And a lot of times we're so stuck in, well, this is where I'm at now, and this is my body, and this is my health, and this is what's happened to me. That's all in the past, and we don't live there anymore. You have right here and right now. And we were designed to be living full, blossoming, beautiful, vibrant, happy, energized, loving lives. And it sucks that we aren't, right? Really, as a society, because of all the shit we've gone through. I probably can't say that on your show, but really, we've all been pushed to our limits and been broken down and beaten down. But that doesn't have to be your forever story. That was the past. We're here to make changes right here and right now. You only have this one body, this one temple. It's time, if you've been feeling run down and groggy, and like you said, sick and tired of being sick and tired.
Yes.
There's no time like the present than to take full control of your health and to seek out information, ask questions, take a stand, be an advocate for your own health, and really honor the temple that you have right now. Move forward in this life and live the vibrant, beautiful, happy, energetic life that we were literally designed as humans that we're supposed to be living. So take forward with it now. Yeah.
Awesome. That is so good, and hopefully that will resonate with somebody out there. So, Caitlin, thanks so much for coming on tonight and
Thank you for
kickstarting
having me.
series.
Yeah.
I'll definitely be reaching out to you again and having you on. So we're coming up to a wrap for tonight, and again, this is the first of a many videos and interviews series over the next year. So thank you for watching today. For those of you who are watching us live, and if you're going to catch us on the replay, definitely enter into the comments #replay. If you found value from what Caitlin and I shared today, please enter value into the comments. If you have questions, please enter the questions for topics that you want to hear in the future. We'll circle around. We'll answer the questions. We'll reach out to you. And so for next week, I am actually going to be bringing on Steve Fillmore. He is also a coach. He's a health coach, a wellness coach, and he is a 2-time cancer survivor.
Wow.
And he is my guest for next week. And this is something that we need to talk. More men need to get out there. Real men have feelings. Real men have hormones. Real men cry. And it's time to destigmatize that macho BS and build a bridge to get over it, because we do have things that we need to talk about, and you should not be afraid to talk about it. So lastly, I always love to leave my people with that. I said in the beginning is that I believe that we all should be living an abundance and optimum wellness, physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and financially. Mm-hmm. So I hope you got value out of tonight, and I'm looking forward to talking to Steve next week and seeing you all next week as well. So thanks for joining.